What's up, guys? Justin Conroy here, and today I want to talk to you about how much money you need to retire and what that means for your savings and investments today. If this is your first time here and you want to learn tips, tricks, and hacks related to personal finance, how to build wealth, and how to better manage your money, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a thing. So let me move over to my computer here and show you something that I built. This is a retirement calculator, and I'll make the little disclaimer that if you compare this to any of the hundreds of retirement calculators that are online, you'll get directionally correct answers, meaning that we don't all calculate it the same way, and that's completely normal and expected. So if you try to compare what my calculator gives compared to another spreadsheet or another online calculator, you're going to get a little bit different answers, and that's perfectly normal and that's perfectly okay. Just be aware of that. The point of this is to understand the directionally correct answer, not to get the exact number, because there is no exact number. We just want to understand the ballpark. So let's go ahead and move over to the spreadsheet and start playing with some numbers. We have our data entry section here on the top left. This is where we're going to actually manipulate the numbers, and we'll touch each of these in a few seconds. Right here on the bottom, we have the calculation results area, and that's where we're going to read about, what results we get from this spreadsheet. And over here on the right is just the calculation area. Don't worry about it too much. I leave it there so that we can peek around and see what's going on later in life, but we'll come back to that as we get to it. Let's start plugging in some numbers. And let's just say you are, for example, a 35-year-old, and you're planning on retiring at 59 and a half. So we're going to type 60 because the spreadsheet won't handle half ages, and that's fine. Again, we're just going for directionally correct information. Yearly expenses. Let's say that you live paycheck to paycheck and you are an average American making roughly $45,000 a year. Paycheck to paycheck meaning after income tax, Social Security, and all the rest of the things that come out of your paycheck, you're basically spending $36,000 a year. That's your yearly expenses. Average rate of return expected from investments, I'm going to use 7.5% because that's the S&P 500 average over the past 70 years. After dividends are reinvested and inflation is accounted for. Current balance on retirement funds. Let's assume that you've saved up $50,000 in your retirement account so far. Your yearly salary, we said, was $45,000. And we're going to use 6% of your salary being invested. Now, we're using 6% here because as a median average statistic, companies will generally match a minimum of 3% of your salary in your 401k. So we're going to assume that you're doing the minimum just to get the company match. And if you have any questions about company matches, check out my video on that topic. I'll leave a link in the top right of the screen here. Okay, so 6%. So where does this put us? Let's read the calculation results here. This means that we're contributing $225 monthly to our retirement, which is $2,700 a year. Once we get to our retirement age of 60, we will have just under $500,000 in our retirement account, and we'll be gaining $33,000 or so in interest per year in that retirement account. But our expenses are adjusted for inflation. So the assumption here is that we're going to basically live the same lifestyle we do today. We're going to continue spending our $36,000 a year in expenses, but we're going to inflate that up to the retirement age so that we can get the equal value at that point, okay? So your $36,000 will be roughly the same as $60,000 at your retirement age, okay? That means that you can live until the age of 71 before you run out of money. And that's no good, obviously. That's really, really not good. And this is really the reason that I wanted to make this video, is because I don't think most people understand how much money that they should be putting away in retirement so they can actually retire at a reasonable age. Okay. Now let's play with some numbers here and let's adjust some things. So let's say, for example, you wanted to retire not at the age of 60, you wanted to retire at 67. Okay. Well, now we can live up to the age of 95. Okay. And that's better, but that's still really not great in my opinion. It's one of these things where I couldn't imagine being at the age of, let's say, 94 and looking ahead one year and going, oh, wow, I'm going to run out of money. What a stressful, horrible way to live out your last years on this planet, right? So why don't we plan to solve that problem now? why don't we plan to put a little bit more money into our investments and our retirement? Why don't we do 10%? Okay. If we do 10% and retire at the age of 67, we've got plenty of money. That's just some code that I wrote in here to say that. But really look at the numbers here. We're planning to spend $67,000 a year by the time we get to the age of 67. We're going to be gaining $76,000 a year, which means we have 10 grand left over every year. That's awesome. And that means that we can basically have that much more fun and live that much longer and reinvest if we want. Okay, so let's go back to our age of 60, okay, with our 10% contributions to our investments. This will get us to the age of 78. So if you want to retire at the age of 60, we're going to need to invest some more. What does 15% look like? That'll get us up to 98, with basically being almost $4,000 in the hole every year. So why don't we just do maybe 1% more? And now we're getting into some numbers that, most people probably aren't going to live this long. So you can kind of see how this really plays out. But let's go back to our 6% and let's see what happens if we would have started doing this at the age of, 21. Man, look at that. If you're 21 years old and you want to retire at the age of 60, all you need to do with the average American salary is invest 6% of your money, and you'll have plenty of money by the time you get there. That's great. So this is the retirement calculator. This hopefully gives you an idea of not only how much money you'll need to retire, which is right here, but also how much money we need to think about investing. So if you're late to the game, let's say you're 40 and you want to retire at 60, we really need to start investing more money, because we're not going to be able to live very long off of those numbers. Let's go up to 18. Let's go up to 20. So if you start at 40, you've got a ways to go. Let's go to 22, 25. That's probably good enough there. So by the age of 60, we're going to need to have some serious money in that account and invest some serious money to make sure that we can actually live. So moral of the story here is that if you are young, start now. And if you're older like I am and you got a little bit of a late start, maybe it's time to start thinking about pumping in some extra money into your retirement savings, just so you can catch up and make sure that you have enough to live a nice, comfortable, healthy life. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas for future videos, please leave me a note down below in the comments section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell before you leave. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And as always, thank you for watching, thank you for your support, and have a good one.